Hi my loves, welcome back or welcome to a brand new video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Amy, welcome. I'm so happy you clicked on this video today. If you guys can't tell by the title, today I will be going over 24 books I want to read in 2024. Obviously 2023 is ending, we have about 10-11 days until 2024. That being said, I have started to look at what books I want to read in 2024, looking at new releases but also the books I have already on my TBR. I'm going to do another video where I show you guys all my physical TBR because I have so many books on my physical TBR. We start, if you're new to this channel, if you enjoy this video, make sure you please like and subscribe. I'm so thankful you guys, I love you guys, so let's get started. So the first book I want to read in 2024 is Unravel Me by Beck and Mac. This is actually part of a series. This is the third book in the Playing for Keeps series. So the first book is Consider Me and the second book is Play With Me. These two feature a group of friends and like their different romances. So the first one is Carter, and Carter's my baby. Him and Olivia, like they're my babies, I love them so much. The second book is Garrett and Jenny. Jenny is Carter's sister and then Garrett is his friend. And then this book is Adam's book. I'm so excited to read his book because I read about him in the other ones and I'm just like obsessed with him. So this one obviously features Adam. Adam is the goalie in the NHL and he's kind of a player. He hasn't really had a good time with relationships and dating, and one day he bumps into Rosie, and Rosie is a single mother. She's struggling, she doesn't really have time to be in a relationship, but she meets Adam. They're automatically like swooning with each other. Beautiful story, but there's a certain secret that Adam holds that could threaten the relationship between them two and the little family that he's now created. So I'm really excited to get into his book. I absolutely love this series so much. Consider Me and Play With Me, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with them. If you're looking for a good hockey romance, I definitely recommend those. The cover is so freaking cute, and this is a book that hopefully I can read in 2024. So next we have a fantasy. So we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This, I've heard so much stuff about it. TikTok, a whole whirlwind. I think I've spoken about this by 10 before the end, but I don't think I'm actually going to get to this before the end of the year. We have 11 days left, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read that much this month. I've just been so busy with work and like Christmas and stuff like that. I haven't really had time to read as much, but Powerless is definitely a book that I want to read in 2024, especially because this is part of a series. Lauren Roberts is coming out with her second book, part of a series called Reckless, and I really want to get this book read so I can buy Reckless and read them together. I don't know if maybe I should wait until Reckless comes out and then read them like all at once, because I kind of like when it's a little bit more completed before I read like a series, rather than going into a series and then like not having the books for it. Like with the Akatar series or the Shatter Me series, I have like the whole series, so it's quite refreshing. So when I finish one book I can just go straight into the other one, not worrying about waiting for a long time until the other one comes out. Powerless basically features this kind of world where there's these elites. The elites, they kind of rule everything, they have special powers, and then obviously there's the people called the ordinary. We meet this girl who's basically all her life is pretending to be an elite, and once she saves a prince, she gets thrown into these trials where they basically have to showcase these abilities and basically like fight to the death. But obviously she doesn't actually have the special abilities as she's saying that she is. She's just ordinary, so it's kind of her trying to fend for herself during that. But then it's also like the friends to lovers or enemies to lovers kind of trope, forbidden romance. Definitely a book that I want to read in 2024. The cover, again, another freaking cute cover. Lauren Roberts, I never read anything from her, but I'm really excited to hopefully read this book in 2024. It's definitely one of the books that's high up on my TBR for the start of 2024, so I'm really excited to read it. So next we have Powerless, again another book called Powerless, but this one's by Elsie Silver. This one's part of the Chestnut Spring series. I think this is the third book of the series, I believe. Yeah, third book of this series. This is a not hockey romance, but the main protagonist, he is a hockey player. So this one features Jasper. Jasper is a hockey heartthrob. His best friend is Sloth. Like, she comes back but she's engaged, stuff like that, and it's kind of like unresolved feelings that haven't been spoken about, and Jasper kind of like finally has enough. He's realizing that he actually wants her and nothing's gonna get in his way. So I know it's gonna be a really good book. I have high expectations. I've already been enjoying the series so much. We have Flawless, I think it was, is the first book. Yeah, first book is Flawless, and then it's Heartless, and then it's this one, and then it's Reckless, and then Hopeless, and I really loved Heartless and Flawless. Like, I loved those books so much, so I'm really excited to get to Jasper's story. When I met him in the other books, I was obsessed. Again, this is quite found family. It has so many different tropes that you'll love and enjoy. It's small town, everything you need for those feels, so I definitely recommend reading this book, and it's definitely a book that I want to read in 2024. Next we have a book from one of my favourite authors ever. I absolutely love her books, and this is from a brand new series that she released this year. This is Love Redesign by Lauren Asher. I absolutely love Lauren Asher. There's another series that I want to read by her called the Dirty Air series. I've read her Dreamland Billionaire series, which is one of my favourite series in the world, so I had to buy Love Redesigned. Obviously we have Dirty Air series is one of the books that I want to read in 2024, but high up on my TBR is Love Redesign, which is the first book in her brand new series, and I'm so freaking excited. I feel like next year I'm really prioritizing reading books on my TBR. This year I've started so many series, like I can't even keep on track. I think I have about 14 series that I'm like in the middle of or just started, so I'm just literally adding another one to this point. I haven't even read the Dirty Air series, but again, I've heard so many good things about this book. This book was released this year as well, so this is why it's quite high up in my TBR, because I want to read it before I kind of just lose the hype for it. Because with me is, if I wait too long after a book comes out, I lose the hype to read it, and then what happens, sits on my TBR shelf and I never get to it. So I'm trying to get it done as soon as I can, but also not rushing myself because I do have other books to read. But again, this is a book that I'm really excited to read. This one features Julian and Dahlia. They're enemies to lovers. They don't like each other. Dahlia is an interior designer, and basically Julian is been made to kind of help her out. He's a billionaire as well. So if you're looking for a good enemies to lovers, definitely recommend checking this book out. I can't wait to read it. I don't know full extent what this book is about. All I know, it's kind of enemies to lovers. It's gonna have a lot of spies, and knowing Lauren Asher, the way she writes these characters and her storytelling, I know it's just gonna be amazing. It's gonna make me blush. I'm gonna be kicking my feet. I'm gonna be giggling. I'm gonna be crying. I know something is up, and I can't wait to read it in 2024. Last but not least, of all the books that I actually have physically with me, is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Novin. This book right here, I've been waiting to read this book for such a long time. People said it is quite a sad book, and just by judging by the cover, the fact that there's a broken like heart lollipop, I know it's gonna put me in my feels. I like the books that are happy ending and cozy, but I also want those sad books that would just like have me crying, get some emotion out of me, because sometimes I can be a bit of a heartless bitch. So I'm really excited to get into this book. It features Autumn and Finn. They were inseparable their whole lives until they weren't, and basically Finn has a secret, and when Autumn finds out, she kind of starting to realize, like, is this my last chance to make things right with him before something happens? And just by hearing that doesn't give me good vibes. I don't know if I'm actually prepared for it, but it's a book that I've been waiting to read for a long time. I had to put it in my 2024 reading list, so this is definitely a book that is high up on my TBR for next year, so hopefully I can get this read. Now let's get on to the books that I have on my phone. I have a list of the other 19 books. So the next book that I want to read in 2024 is Persuasion by Jane Austen. This book I've been waiting to read for such a long time. I really want to get more into reading literary fiction. So Persuasion is a book that I definitely want to read. I've watched the movie Persuasion on Netflix and I absolutely loved it so much. This one is like a, not forbidden, but it's kind of like a unresolved romance between these two characters who were together but they broke up, and then he returns and she doesn't expect him to return, and like there's so many different unresolved feelings that like kind of stem from his return. When I found out it was actually based on the book, I was so freaking excited. That is a book that I want to read in 2024. So the 7th book that I want to read in 2024 is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is from the Maple Hill series, so it's actually the 3rd book in the series. We have Icebreaker, Wildfire, and then we have Daydream. Daydream features Henry. He is again mentioned in all of the books. He is a fan favourite, golden retriever energy, and this is his book, His Time to Shine. I've only actually read Icebreaker, but I'm really excited to read Daydream because it's a new release for 2024, so of course I want to read Wildfire in 2024, but I'm really most excited for Daydream because I absolutely loved Henry and his vibes. He's a POC character, which we love. getting that representation out there. So of course I had to be enthusiastic about reading his book. Hannah Grace, I love the way she writes. It's just so easy to understand, it flows, it's fast paced, and it gives you all the feels. It gives you the steaminess that will have you blushing for days, but it also has the cozy feeling where you fall in love with the characters and they're quite relatable as well. So definitely recommend checking out those books if you haven't, and I'm really excited to read that in 2024. So number 8, we have This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. I actually only discovered Kennedy Ryan this year, and one of my goals for 2024 is to read a lot more black romance. Just reading any book by POC authors, I feel like they're so underrated. Like when I saw the GOODREADS, like most popular books, and saw the lack of diversity in terms of the authors and the books that were recommended the most, I definitely want to read a lot more of books, not just written by black authors, but authors from any other worlds, also LGBT authors, just because I feel like it's really important, and as a reader you should be able to enjoy any book. And also I know that when I read black romance, obviously I'll be able to relate to it a lot more, and that's something that I really want to invest in next year and buy some more books. That's definitely one of my rules for next year, is to invest only really into black authors. Obviously still buy for my favourite authors that are white, but to also expand what I'm reading and who I'm reading by, just because I know there's really good books out there, and Kennedy Ryan is definitely an author that I definitely want to get more into. This Could Be Us is actually part of a series, the second book in the Skyline series, following on Before I Let Go. Before I Let Go is a book that I'm currently reading, and I'm absolutely loving it so much. The way Kennedy Ryan brings alive these characters is amazing. This series, I'm enjoying it so much. I've only really read Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, so if you haven't checked out Kennedy Ryan's books, definitely recommend checking it out, because I know that next year I'm definitely diversifying my reading, so I think you should too. So that is a book that I'm really excited to read in 2024. Next we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This book I've been waiting to read. Two of my favourite YouTubers talk about them so much, Alexa Raye and Tiffanie, my bestie Tiffanie, and I thought it was time for me to get into them. I love romance, I love fantasy, and people said Divine Rivals is such a good book. I've seen so many cute special edition covers, and actually the other week when I was in Waterstones I saw a special edition cover for Divine Rivals, so that was what sparked my interest and got me into it. So that is a book that I definitely want to read in 2024. I actually have no idea what it's about, but I'm guessing it's some type of romance. It kind of gives me some type of mystery vibes, I don't know, just by the cover, but I'm really excited to read it. Again, that's part of a series. I think the next book is Ruthless Vows. I think that one's coming out next year as well, 2024, so that's why I really want to get into Divine Rivals, just so I can read that one as well. So next we have A Love Song for Richie Wilde. This is by Tia Williams. She is the author of 7 Days in June. I haven't actually read that book either. This book I saw recently on my TikTok For You page, and I wanted to get the cover ASAP. So this one features Ricky. Ricky is the autistic one of her sister. She's kind of misunderstood, the kind of black sheep of the family, and she basically decides to move away. Once she moves away, she obviously discovers music, all this different stuff which she's always been interested in, and alongside that she meets a stranger who basically gives her the greatest experience of her life, and it's just a story of love, of music, of healing and journey, and like I feel like it's gonna be a book that I'm really gonna resonate with, I'm really gonna love. It's gonna put me in my feels, but it's gonna be really sweet and really cozy. So it's a book that I'm really excited to read. Tia Williams, I haven't read anything from her. Again, she's an author that I've really wanted to read for such a long time. Next we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. This year I obviously discovered Sarah J Maas and the ACOTAR series. I'm currently on the final book, and yes, I'm so sad to say goodbye to these characters, but I was so freaking excited to know that she has another 2 series for me to indulge in. So obviously the next series following from the ACOTAR series is the Throne of Glass series. This series I think has like 8 books, but I'm obviously just going to be talking about the first book. The first book is obviously The Throne of Glass, and I'm really excited to get into this series. People said this is probably one of their favourite series out of like all of her books that she does, and I'm really excited to read it. I'm just going to read what it says here. It literally just says here, where the king rules with an iron hand, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She comes not to kill the king, but to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 killers, thieves and warriors in a competition, she is released from prison to serve as a king's champion. Her name is Selena Savvy, I can't even say that name, I'm sorry guys, I can't even say it. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, but something evil dwells in the castle of glass and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying one by one, fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys the world. Okay. So just reading from that sounds really, really good. Obviously the series is well known by a lot of people. Again, I first discovered it from TikTok, then I also saw Sara mention it and talk about it a lot, as well as Destiny. So I thought it would be the perfect time to start that next year. Obviously as I finish the ACOTAR series, I want to definitely delve straight into another fantasy series, and I definitely think the Throne of Glass series is just going to be a good series for me to read in the new year. Next is actually a non-fiction book, so I'm going to talk about Atomic Habits by James Clear. Next year I really want to get into reading a lot more non-fiction books. Last year I did it a lot more than this year, and I really want to implement at least reading one non-fiction book every month, just because I'm really into wellness and self-care, and I feel like reading non-fiction books is a huge part of that, and being aware of the things that you need to do to be more positive about your life and to kind of motivate you. Atomic Habits is a book that I've been wanting to read for such a long time, since it was first released. I thought it would be the perfect time to have it on my 2024 reading TBR. So that is a book that I want to read. Atomic Habits is basically just talking about how you can create more positive and healthy ways of kind of breaking down bad habits and implementing good habits, and how habits are formed. So the only thing that I really know about habits is that it takes 21 days for it to actually stick. So this book kind of just gives you the research and kind of the tools for you to be able to create those good habits, and it's definitely a book that I want to read to kind of learn a little bit more about what habits are, how to properly set up habits and implement them, especially in terms of stuff like self-care and well-being. So if you want a really good self-help book, I definitely recommend checking out Atomic Habits, because I know that's a book that I definitely want to read in 2024. Next we have King of Sloth by Anna Hugh. This is part of the King of Sin series, and I am so excited for this book. This is the 4th book in this series. We have the King of Wrath, the King of Pride and the King of Greed. This book, again, I'm obsessed with Anna Hugh. I'm not afraid to say that. I first read the Twisted series by her and I'm obsessed with them. Like, that is one of my favourite series ever. And when I found out that she's releasing another book from the series, I was so freaking excited, and I just know this book is going to be so freaking cute. It's going to have me kicking my feet, it's going to have me blushing, it's going to have me giggling, and I'm so freaking excited to read it. Next we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver, again, is another author that I discovered this year. I spoke about the Chestnut Spring series and I talk about Powerless, but another book that I want to read from her is Wild Love. This is a new release in 2024 of her brand new series, and I'm freaking excited. I absolutely love her series so much. Again, this is found family, it is small town. I think it actually focuses more on like the maturer adults in the series. Elsie Silver, the way she writes, the way she brings these characters to life, have depth about them. They also have lovable features. You're gonna fall in love with every single character you meet, every couple, and just the scenery, the atmosphere, the feeling when you're reading these books is something that you shouldn't miss. And I'm really excited to check out Wild Love next year. Start a new series from her. Hopefully I can get the Chestnut Spring series finished before that, and I'm really loving them, so Wild Love is definitely an anticipated read for next year. Next we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. Emily Henry, again, another author that I discovered this year. I read her book Happy Place and oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin with that book. Funny Story is another book by Emily Henry which is being released next year, which again I'm super freaking excited for. I still have yet to read Book Lovers and Beach Read, but I know I'm going to enjoy those. And Funny Story, I've seen people talk about them, the cover's freaking cute. I know this book is going to put me in my feels, it's going to have me laughing, it's going to have me blushing, and I'm ready for it, I'm prepared for it. So I'm really excited to read that one. That one I actually have no idea what it's about. All I know is it's called Funny Story. It's by Emily Henry, so that's all I really needed to know, and I know that it's released next year, so next year I'm definitely really getting into the new releases. So next we have The Rule Book by Sarah J. Adams. I absolutely love this author. I actually read her in 2022, I think it was, or 2021, I don't know. I read her book The Cheat Sheet, or A Cheat Sheet, and I absolutely loved it. It was a strangers to friends to lovers. It's a college romance, and it was such a good book. And to know that she's coming out with a new book, I was so freaking excited for. This one's called Rule Book. Again, this is another book that I actually don't know what's about, but I saw that it was by Sarah J. Adams. I saw it had a cute title. I saw that it has a bit of sport in it, so I'm gonna read it. So we have A Worthy Love by A.E. Valdez. She again is another black author that I really want to get into. I absolutely adore the cover for this book, and I know again it's gonna put me in my feels. One thing that I know this author's good at doing is putting people in their feels. The fact that it's called A Worthy Love, I know there's gonna be something where this character has so many bad experiences with love, but then they're gonna meet someone that treats them right, that's gonna give them everything they deserve, and I can't wait to read that. Like, what? I want to read that because it's going to make me feel even more depressed about me being single, but at the same time it's like I'm living my own romantic relationship through these books. So, you know, I have to do it. I've got to do it for the girls. I've got to do it for the girls. That's what I say. I've got to do it for the girls. I've got to do it for myself. And A Worthy Love is a book that I definitely want to read in 2024. Next we have Daisy 8 by Jessa Hastings. I started reading the Magnolia Park series, and Magnolia Park is the first book, and then the next book is Daisy 8. We meet her a little bit in the first book, not as much, but I really want to continue with the Magnolia Park series. I didn't really enjoy the Magnolia Park series as much as I thought I would. I gave it maybe a 3.5. There was just something about it. I think it's because it took me such a long time to read it because I was doing so many other things in the summertime that I wasn't able to fully really enjoy it and understand it. But I really want to get into Daisy 8. People said that that's actually their favourite book in the series, and like her books are better than like Magnolia Park. But I want to give this book another chance. Magnolia Park is definitely something that I want to read next year, do a reread, kind of refresh my memory, see if I like it again. But I definitely want to continue with the Magnolia Park series, and Daisy 8 is the next book in the series. Following on from that, Never by Jessa Hastings. That is also another book that I want to read in 2024. People said it's supposed to be like a retelling of like Peter Pan. So the next book that I want to read in 2024 is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Posted. So this book I found on TikTok. It was really popular. People said it's such a good book. For what I know about it, I know it's about a girl who discovers a man in her late aunt's apartment, and like it's a bit of her like interaction with him and like maybe falling in love. I don't really know. I don't know much about this book, I'm not gonna lie. I saw on TikTok, I saw a lot of people talk about it, and I wanted to get it. I'm not gonna lie, because I follow trends to get ideas, but then obviously I might not like it or not. But I thought I'd pick it up. I heard so many great reviews about it. It's definitely one of those harder books to read. At first I thought it was going to be like a cozy romance book, but from what I've read, like, it's not really that. Which again, I kind of want, because I don't always want lovey-dovey happy stories. Sometimes you need like the grief, you need the sadness and stuff like that. So yeah, I have that on my TBR for next year. I don't know if I will read it or not. Obviously I don't know as much about it as I wish I would compared to some of the other books that I want to read in 2024. But obviously 2024 is about discovering new books, obviously new releases, but my main priority is focusing on my TBR that I already have. Like, I definitely want to finish the Sadly series, I want to finish the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, I want to finish the Magnolia Park series, those types of stuff, things I've already started, and I want to finish those. But obviously there's plenty of new releases as well that I have found and discovered, but also new books that I have found that might not be new releases, but I still want to get to as well. So next we have Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is also part of a series. This is the first book in the series. This again is not a lovey-dovey story. It has heartbreak, it has sadness, and from reading the blurb I know it's gonna put me through so much turmoil. I'm gonna be crying, and I don't know if I'm prepared for it, but it's a book that I want to read. It's a series I want to start, and I'm really excited to start it. This book features Johnny and Shannon, and Johnny is a popular boy. He is on the rugby team. He kind of gets what he wants when he wants it, and then he meets Shannon, the brand new girl with bruises and sad eyes, and he wants to get to know her and know more. Obviously Shannon, she's starting this brand new prestigious school where she doesn't have the same problems as those, like she has a lot more problems. She's not rich like a lot of these kids, and she has a rough background, and basically she meets Johnny, they fall in love, but something threatens their relationship, and it's basically like their journey in the relationship. I know the second book also focuses on them, and people said these books are really deep, do deal with really troubling topics like domestic abuse, child abuse and stuff like that, so definitely be aware of that. But this series is a series I definitely want to read in 2024. Again, I have so many series that I need to complete this year. So the next book I want to read in 2024 is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This one is a second chance romance, old flame. We meet two characters that were together and they're not. That's what makes second chance romance. I don't know why I said that. Duh. First we meet Macy. Macy has a good job, she has a secure man, and her life is basically stable and sorted out. But she runs into her one and only past flame, and obviously old feelings arise. Unresolved feelings, unresolved love have not gone away, and when she bumps into him, everything that she has built comes crashing down, and it's her trying to decide if she should stay with a secure man that can give her all the stability that she needs, or to go with a man that she actually loves. And this book goes from obviously the past to the future, so it has flashbacks and stuff like that, from them when they're teenagers to obviously them as adults. And I know this book's going to be so cozy. Again, it's going to put me through the tears, but I think it's going to be a little bit steamy, a little bit cozy. It seems like it has all the right elements for a perfect book, so hopefully I really enjoy it, and hopefully I can get to it in 2024. So next we have Grown by Tiffanie D. Jackson. This book, the cover is so freaking cute. I haven't really heard much about this book. I actually found it on GOODREADS, and I actually think I first came across it when I was in Waterstones. I think they actually had it there, but I didn't end up picking it up. I really liked the blur, I thought it was quite interesting, and when I saw it on GOODREADS and how people reviewed it, I thought I would take a chance and read it, and that's the book I really want to read in 2024. This book again is from a POC author, which we love, and this book is a little bit different from the books that I mentioned. Obviously a lot of these books are romance books that I have mentioned in 2024 because I'm a romance girly, so of course most of my books will be romance. But this one is a bit of a twist. This one is a bit of a mystery. It's a little bit of thriller, and that is what we love. I don't only want to diversify reading more POC romances, but also more POC thrillers, mysteries, fantasies and so on. And Grown seems like the perfect thriller book. This one features Corey in Enchanted. Basically Corey is a R&B artist who notices Enchanted and basically helps her career take flight, but Corey is found dead, and Enchanted is basically accused as the prime suspect for her death, and it's kind of the story of finding out who did it, like if she did it, why, or if she didn't, like who did it, and that mystery of like who would want to kill Corey and why and stuff like that. And this book I feel like it's going to be really interesting. What I love about this book is the fact that it's like based on like celebrities and the very dark side of being a celebrity and like all the different stuff that happens. It also mentions the Me Too movement about harassment and sexual abuse that happens a lot in the Hollywood celebrity kind of world. So the 24th book that I want to read in 2024 is Tender Beast by Leslie Sandberry. This book is a fantasy. The cover, again, I love the cover, I'm obsessed with it. So it's quite like a scary fantasy, which I'm really excited for. I feel like it's going to be the perfect like spooky vibe. I might not read it at the start of the year, but I definitely think I'm going to read it maybe October time. This one is like a sibling mystery. Obviously she's been told by her mother to take care of her brother when her mum basically passed away, when she's about to pass away, and obviously her brother's always been quite mysterious, but when one of his classmates is murdered and blood is found on his hands, she obviously needs to protect him, but she also needs to get down and find out what happened. And alongside finding out that, she doesn't just find one body, she keeps finding more and more and more. She gets sucked into the mystery of like who's killing these people. But that is the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. Of course there's so many other books that I want to read next year, but these are the main 24 that I want to read. These are the books that I've seen recently, I've seen for the past year. If anyone has any more recommendations for me to read in 2024, let me know. I'm always wanting to know, especially with fantasy. I really want to get more and more into fantasy and kind of find black authors authors that you fancy, because I haven't really found any yet. But if you have any that you know, let me know, because I would appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I gave you some recommendations. Obviously we have some new releases in this. We obviously have releases that have already out, some of them that I have already on my physical TBR, and obviously some that I don't yet. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Make sure you share, make sure you comment. It really helps me. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys are having a good rest of the week. I hope you guys are excited for Christmas. Christmas is coming soon and I'm so freaking excited. So as I always say, I love you guys and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!